Hi guys, we've got another Model 1 for you here. I'm still ongoing with the Ducati Panigale. This one is a Revell 1/25th scale 2009 Dodge Challenger SRT8. Now, the reason for this one is I'm going to be visiting a friend who happens to have one of these. I'm not normally into building, I like muscle cars and that kind of thing, but I'm not normally into building the more modern cars. I much prefer the older sort of 50s and 60s fins and chrome American cars. But I've got a friend that has one of these. I think it's actually the V6 model, but you know, essentially the body shape's the same and all the rest of it. And so I'm going to be making this for them as just as a little gift. So we've got the instructions here, which are in a fold-out format, very nicely laid out. And one of the things that Revell do is they give you a sprue layout. So this shows you all of the sprues that you should get in the packet and all of the parts on the sprue. So it's a quick and easy check to make sure that there's nothing missing. Occasionally in a kit you'll get a sprue with a couple of bits that seem to be blank, that seem to be empty, and you're never quite sure if a part's fallen off or if you're missing something until you get to the point where you actually need that part and discover it's not there. With the Revell kits they typically do this, and I really like that feature, so you can check to see that everything's there before you go ahead. And then the build format's very similar to Airfix, any of you guys that work with Airfix kits and what have you. Panel by panel layout with glue callouts, colour callouts and decal callouts accordingly, like up here for example, all your decals for the dash. So yeah, all very straightforward, all very simple. Now your colour callouts on the back and your decals for the body shell. Now I'll be painting this not in the red as per the sort of orangey red or whatever you call it there on the box, but this will be done in a sort of metallic silver, silvery bluey kind of colour, silvery grey kind of colour, if I can find the right colour to correspond with my friend's car, which is a kind of dark silvery grey. So we'll see what we can do with that, but as long as I get it somewhere near I'll be happy enough. Over here I would do an unboxing, but it's already been unboxed. Basically this is all of the sprues and all of the parts laid out here, having already been washed, rinsed and left to dry. So up here, we'll start over here and work our way across and down. So we've got the front suspension components, the drive shaft, the radiator, the front and rear fenders, the bumpers, the main body tub, the inner body tub which consists of the parcel shelf and part of the ancillaries for the engine bay, and that's where your seats and what have you are mounted. The under tray, which has the appropriate detailing underneath. Back across here we've got the other part of the radiator with the cooling fans, the belt assembly, various strut pieces and suspension pieces and steering components. We've got the inner door cards and the dash on this one. Steering wheel up at the top there. Now there's an example, there's a part that came adrift which I found loose, missing thanks to the instructions there. That's the rear seat, that's the engine intake manifold which is loose also, the gearbox and engine, the header pipes, various gearbox components. Over here we've got the front seats and various bits for the headlining and the gear shifter panel, what have you. Other engine components up here to build up the engine, part of the exhaust system, another part of the exhaust system, the brake discs and calipers, and then down here we've got the bonnet, as we call it in the UK, the hood, a little boot spoiler and wing mirrors, and then over here we've got the wheels which were chrome, very nice shiny chrome, but they've been stripped because they are not supposed to be chrome, they're supposed to be an alloy. So they're going to be painted in aluminium. So there we have it. Next step of course is to get these bits mounted and primed. There will be a little bit of sub-assembly before priming, such as the engine and gearbox and what have you, because it's much easier to build them and then prime them on the go. So anything that can be sub-assembled before it's primed, such as the front seats and the engine and bits and bobs, I will be doing that. So that's essentially unboxing, in inverted commas as it were. The box, I'll just give you a quick look around the box for anybody interested in that. Very nice box art on the front there. We've got a bit of information on the side about, there we go, in English, if that will focus. I don't know if it will actually, but basically a little bit about the 70s muscle car movement and what have you. On the back we've got some nice box art of some of the other models that they do. We've got Gullwing Mercedes, a Ferrari, a Citroen 2CV, a Mini and a Audi, I think that is, little rally car thing. Difficulty level grading, which, you know, it's not something I really bother about these days, but it's handy when you're first starting out in modelling, because you can look for ones that look easier. Now this, for example, just if you look over there again, there seems an awful lot of sprues. For anybody that makes models, that looks like a lot of sprues. But when you break the components down, there's really not that much there at all. Typically in a Tamiya kit, for example, see, this one and this one together would make one single sprue. And this one and this one together would make one single sprue. So if you actually look at that, what you've actually got there is about 3 or 4 large sprues, as opposed to the several smaller ones. The skill level of this particular kit is a... can we find it? It's a skill level number 4, which is kits with up to 150 parts for more experienced modelers. So it's not the most difficult, which is a skill level number 5, but as I say, these grading systems are great for anybody getting into modelling, and they can look at the kits and kind of judge as to whether they're confident enough to tackle them yet. So yeah, that's quite handy. On the other side of the box we've got some a bit more information here about the model, and then some detail shots. We've got the engine bay there, the interior, the underneath and what have you. And this is the kind of finish that you can achieve on the model. Hopefully mine will come out looking as good as that. It's an open top box. They're very flimsy boxes, these. I much prefer the ones with the removable lids. They tend to be a bit sturdier. But that said, this was delivered through the post and was delivered pretty much undamaged and unsquashed, so I can't complain there. There's a decal sheet inside and there's the instructions there. So thank you for watching, and I will be putting more up as I go once I prime the body and start prepping some bits.